Okay, for our first mount drills, we're going to work on how to maintain the mount once we have it. And we're going to maintain it through what I call the 8-point checklist. Okay, so I'm here in the mounted position, and what I should expect from my partner is, for one, for them to start trying to reach in with their elbows and knees to try to push my legs back. So step one is going to be pulling up any body part that's here on my knees. 1, 2. I should also expect pressure against my chest where they're trying to push me off of them, and I want to do a swim motion inside for that. 3, 4. Okay. I should also expect them to try to turn in as if they're trying to get to their side, like they're trying to do the elbow escape like we just did before. So I want to do a cross face when that happens. 5, 6, and that's going to put them on their back. 5, 6, and I should expect them to also try to grab my arm and bridge me. So whenever they try to do that, I'm going to drop on my hip. 7, 8, and then come back here to the mount. Okay, so again, I have the mount position. 1, 2, anything that's pushing up against my knees, they push up against my chest. 3, 4, they try to turn into me. 5, 6, and then when they try to bridge me over, 7, 8, like that. Okay, so when I mount Delmar, 8 steps to maintaining the mount. Okay, notice that whenever I'm mounting, I want to try to get my knees up underneath my opponent, but Delmar's doing a good job by keeping his elbows down and not letting me do it. So if these elbows are down, I want to start lifting them up, getting them out of the way. 1, 2. He pushes up, I'm swimming inside. 3, 4. He turns in, cross face. 5, 6. I go to try to maybe choke him, grab his lapel. He reaches down and grabs my arm. I slip off. 7. Come back up. He does it again, try to bridge. 8. And then I come back up here. And we do it again. Elbows down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross face. 5, 6, 7. Up back up. 8. Up back up. That's good. And drill. Again, you hear from the mount is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, on 7 and 8, whenever you have your hand on someone's lapel, imagine that they're going to try to grab your arm and bridge you in that direction. The basic bridge that you're taught when you start learning jiu-jitsu. So know that that's coming. So if this is the arm that they're going to grab, because this is the one that's on the lapel, you know your base is weak in that direction. So you're going to sit so that you can put this arm behind their neck, like that. You're turning all your weight off of them so that they keep turning, but your leverage has turned you off of them. So now that your base is here on your hip, and all your weight's on this hip, not on top of them, and they just have an empty arm that they're pulling. This will give you the option of scooting back up to this fat boy mount, as we call it, or to go right back to the mount from here. Okay? And for both sides, choke, they're going to bridge you in that direction. You drop, your heel's going to kick in on the hip, your knee's going to hit the other side of the hip, and imagine you're trying to put your arm behind their neck, even though they still have this arm that they grabbed to bridge. So don't try to sit to the same side that they're trying to bridge you to, because if my partner has this arm and bridges me this way, if I sit this way, I'm going to fall over. So if I'm here and he goes to bridge his arm, if I sit this way, I'm just helping him out, because he's just going to throw me right over. So I want to make sure that whenever I have that arm here and I feel that they're going to grab it, I want to put my free arm behind his neck as I slip off to that side. Here. So now I can slide up, or I can reestablish the mount, or I can even pull him into my back. But the drill is, I need to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you can do those 8 steps, you should have a pretty strong mount, and it'll be hard for people to get you off. Okay, the next drill that we're going to do from the mount is the armbar drill. And one of the things that I find that students have when they're trying to do the armbar is that they're not putting enough weight on their partners so that they can get their legs around. So with this drill that we're going to do here, this is going to show you, one, how to form that triangle and the hand placement point on your partner so that, one, you'll put your weight forward so that you can start moving your legs around their body. So I want you to have your legs spread out just like you were going to be when you were in the posture position, when we were doing the tripod for the perfect posture. And you're going to put your hand down in the form of a triangle. Then I want you to extend one leg out. Let's say we'll do your left leg, and slide your hand back a little bit so you feel comfortable, and you should be sitting on the back of your heel, like this, with your toes up on the mat. Okay? Now from here, what we want to do is, we don't need to have our leg completely in front of us like this. This would just be extremely uncomfortable, but we need to be able to put all our weight on our hands so that we can switch. All the weight goes forward so you can switch. And that is the arm bar from the mount, in a sense, okay? Once you realize that you can put all your weight down and swivel your legs, then you'll be able to do this and end up in the finishing position without having to stand up and without really having to have a partner there to get you all the way around in one motion. And if you can do it with just the floor or the mat, when your partner's underneath you, they're going to lift your hands up 6 to 9 inches, but that's the process will still be the exact same. All your weight's down, toes up, your heels on the mat, so that you put all your weight so that you can shift. Shift, shift. And once you get comfortable with this, when you bring that straight leg out, just swing it all the way around. Imagine this is your partner's head, and you're right here. And you've done an arm bar without having to have a body there. Just relax. Here. Put your arms up. Put all my weight down here, and my legs go down. So it should be a nice controlled motion. And when you're doing the drill without a partner, you're kicking down so you can stop. And the same thing will apply here. Up. Okay, let's go. Again, arms down, leg out, shift, 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 here, shift, shift, shift. And there's your arm bar without a partner. Okay, the next move, the drills we're going to do are from the bottom, side control. My partner has passed my guard, and the first thing I'm going to do is a sequence that I'm going to turn out before he has a chance to get there, and then I'll do the sit out and do the reversal to it. Okay, so I'm on my back, and let's presume that my partner's coming to this side. So I'm going to put my hand on my forehead And I'm going to put this arm on the inside of it. And this is going to allow me to turn into my partner. The purpose of this arm is to keep me from getting cross-faced so that I don't get rolled back to my back. So I'm on my side, my hand goes to my forehead, I pull my arm inside so it's not out there dangling for some arm bar or some kind of lock like that. One leg's going to be up, and the side that I'm on, that leg's going to be on the mat so that I can shoot it in between this space here. And I'm going to make a 90-degree turn from my head facing this way to my head facing completely this way. Now that I'm here, I'm going to pop up on my knees. I'm not going to pull my elbows back to my knees, but I'm going to bring my knees up to my elbows. And now that I'm here, I need to figure out which side my head is on, or is closer to being sticking out so that I can do my sit-out. And once I figure out which side is easier for me to stick my head out, I lift up that leg. This leg is going to shoot through that gap while my head's poking out. And I'm going to sit through, step over so that I can turn up, and then I'm going to drive back into my partner and put him back on his back. Slowly, I turn to my side, forehead, hands on my forehead, so that arm should go right over. This leg shoots through. I'm flat on my stomach. Pop my knees up to my elbows. Lift my leg up, stick my head out of the space between his hip, thigh, and his upper body. Shoot my leg through while I throw my head back, which will make them fall forward. Switch so that I can come up on my knees and pull their knees across while I drive in and reverse the position. And the movement will look like this when done at a normal speed. Here, as he starts turning the corner, I'm shooting around here. I pop up on my knees. I look for the space that's easier for me to get my head out. This is the closest space instead of me trying to take it all the way to the other side of the body. I poke my head out. I get my leg up. I shoot my foot through so that my partner will drop off like he's doing. Then I switch my leg so that I can drive in. And then I just continue to sweep. Here. Make it look presentable. Here. He starts to come, and again, the key to this turn-in is you don't wait until your partner's completely on you. As soon as you think that they've crossed, back up for a second, back up some more. Or you think that they've gotten beyond your legs, then you go. To wait until he's right here, it's not going to happen, or it's going to be a lot of work. So I need to make sure if I've got some kind of open guard defense, once I feel it's broken, it's come down, I'm immediately turning in so that I can get up on my knees. I flat, I pop up, I bring my knees, I bring my knees to my elbows. I look for the side that I want to sit out to. Since my head's already out because he has too much weight on this side, leg up, head up, shoot through. Once I'm here, switch so that I can drive in with this arm that's already on the inside, drive in and sweep his legs across so I pass the legs. And then I come right there, they did it. It's good. So, again, the movement is 1, forehead, arm inside, this leg's up, this one's going to shoot through. 2, I go flat, I made a complete 90-degree turn. 3, I pop up on my knees, I figure out which way I want to go. Now my hands are my feelers on their knees, so if they try to get up to walk around me, I know which way they're going to go. Okay? 4, I stick my leg up, and I'm going to shoot through. at 5. 5, shoot through. This elbow is still on the inside, so that when I step around to drive in, it's already in place for the pull. Okay? And then I just drive and I pull the arms across so that I clear the legs out of the way, so that I don't put them down and I end up in the half guard, but I end up on the side control. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how it looks real time. And you can do that as slow or as fast as you want. And the more speed you put behind it, the more cardio intense it'll be. Reaction, reaction, reaction is what's important for that one. Okay, for this next part, for the side control escape from the bottom drill, it's a very simple move where I just take the fist and I put it in the throat area while I'm bridging up, and I want to bring my knee back inside to reestablish a guard. It's not a dirty move. It's because you're not trying to punch anyone in the throat. All you're doing is that you're just bridging in, and since that's a sensitive area, people are going to react to it, and they're going to straighten up and give you the space so that you can bring your knee back in across to reestablish a guard. So when you're here, your hands are in the control positions, here by the hip so you can follow and monitor the hip, and this one is going to be here toward the face. But instead of putting the forearm on the throat, I want to put my fist like I'm trying to punch up, and this is gi independent, okay? So you can do this gi or no gi. I just want the reaction. So when I bridge up, I'm going to push into the throat like that. They're going to straighten up, and then I bring this knee across their body and kind of spin so that I can reestablish the guard. So this is the first thing. Like that. That'll make them straighten up, and then you just bring the knee in and close the guard. Now I know some people might think, well, can't he armbar you? Again, I don't know of anyone who can take a fist in the throat and fight right through it, because that's just a very sensitive area, especially when the knuckles hit the windpipe. So is it possible? I'm sure anything's possible. The probability of it is close to 0. So if you place the knuckles right there and all they feel is discomfort, pain in the throat area that they're not used to associate with grappling, they're going to react. It's going to hit a nerve, they're going to react, and they're going to straighten up. That's all the space that you need to make them straighten up. Delmar? Now, notice when Delmar does it to me, I'm going to have Delmar get down tight. And when I push him in his throat, watch how much he cooperates to come up from on top. Okay? That's it. So all I have to do is just push into it like that. He's not fighting through my hand. And bridge and make sure that I can bring my knee across to take advantage of that. And I go back to close guard by pulling him in or going in, or I put my feet on the hips and I establish some kind of open guard control. But I want to get him up off of me so that I can then slide this knee across and spin into it. Now, when I bring my knee across, it's 1, and then I turn my body so that the leg falls out easily across the stomach, and now I can pull him into my closed guard. Okay? I don't want to just bring the knee here and then think, well, it's my job to slide this foot all the way across with my body still kind of contorted. I need to slide the knee in, then turn it so that now I'm completely facing him. We're parallel to one another, and it's going to be easy for me to slide the foot out. Okay? So again, he comes down. He's on me tight. Here. Bridge. Come here. So the drill is, after a few times, you just get the bump motion. You hear the right hand placement. Be sneaky about it. Don't make it look like an overt punch in the throat. Here, in your normal side control position, bring your hand up, bridge, knee and turn your upper body so you swing. If you turn your upper body once your knee comes in, that'll help you swing your legs around and make it easier to close the guard. So it'll be bump, 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 bump. In fact, don't extend it out where it's out like that and it's overly extended for a long period of time. A quick push, 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 push. And at the end of the push, the knee comes and you swing your upper body. Push, knee, swing. Push, knee, swing. Push, knee, swing. Okay, the next drill that we're going to do is a drill that's going to help you with keeping good pressure when you're in the side control from the top position and give you good hand placement so that you have constant head and hip control. Now, one of the keys to having good pressure from the top is the ability to be able to keep your knees off the floor. I'm not going to say that there's anything wrong with having your knees down, but when you establish what we call our 3 points of pressure, with my toes, both of my feet are 2 of the 3 points, and then my upper body on my opponent's body is the 3rd point, then that makes it easier for me to, one, move around a lot easier because I don't have to lift my weight up from my knees or my hips off the mat to move them from point A to point B. I also have the freedom of using my arms because I'm not using my arms to hold my opponent down. My arms can be used for attacking because my opponent's dealing with my weight. And because the 3rd point is on him, they're having to feel my weight the entire time. Whenever my knees or my hips or any other part of my body hits the mat, before the part that's making contact with my opponent hits the mat, then the weight is off of my opponent and now they're free to move. So one of the best ways to do that is with a medicine ball, or even if you have some kind of exercise equipment like a step from a step aerobics class. I have one of those as well, but right now I have my medicine ball to use. So with the ball, what I want to do is I want to take a point on the ball, and with my upper body, there should always be a point where my upper body is making contact with the ball, and I'm going to imagine that the ball is my opponent. So my 2 feet are going to be suspending my lower body, like so, and my 3rd point is going to be on my opponent. So whenever this occurs, then that means that my opponent is carrying my weight and my hands are free. If I bring my knees up, that's less weight on my opponent because now my 3rd point is here. 1, 2, and maybe my feet. I don't really have any weight going down. I'm leaning forward. Now I'm going to have to fight with my hands to keep them down, and I don't want to do that. So with my legs out and my weight on my opponent, I need to learn how to move without my hands. And one of the ways I'm going to do that while keeping the weight is to walk around in a side step with my toes or my feet while my upper body stays on the ball and my hands are behind my back. I'm sorry. Now I have to tell you, this is harder than it looks. You may think, well, that's not really difficult. Well, once you start doing it, you're going to see that keeping your body suspended like this isn't as easy as it looks, okay? So once you get used to doing that, then the second phase comes in, and that's where you put your hands down. Wherever you are on the upper body, one hand's going to be here, high by the head, one's going to be low by the hip. So it should look like this. Head, hip, head, hip. So whenever you walk around the body, you should just know that the 2 points that you're going to see on either side of your head, hip. And if the head's up this way, the hip's going to be down here that way. Your hands have to be in control so that you can stop their movement while you're keeping your weight shooting out through them. And again, if you're on your knees, you can do this, but it's just going to take more work. It's just going to take more work on your part and more of a struggle. But if you can do it from here, it's going to be easier for you. here, I'm going to demonstrate the walk around and always making sure that I have head and hip control in my mind. Like I said, if I'm up on my knees, this isn't bad. But if he moves around, he starts moving. He has a lot of room to move on the bottom, okay? So that's going to make it somewhat of a tussle when we try to, if we're going live and I'm trying to slow him down and get him where I want him to go. But if my head and hip control are here and I'm back on my toes, when I'm in my third point of pressure position, move around, come on. See, he can't move around as much. And not only can he not move around as much, but my hands are free to do whatever it is I want to do. I can walk all the way around them or just like this without my knees ever touching the floor. And he's carrying my weight the whole time. And that's what I want. I want to be able to have my arms free to do whatever it is I want to do while he's carrying my weight. And as soon as my knees drop, my weight's going down here. My third point has changed. I've taken the weight off him, and he's going to be fighting. So from here, when you have your ball, whenever you're walking around, hand placement by the head and the hip. Walking around, here, hip, head, hip. Walk around, head, hip. Knees off the floor. And that is the main thing. Submission really isn't the problem or the main focus of this drill. The main focus of the drill is being able to keep your knees off the mat, keeping constant pressure on him, and to be able to move while you control the head and hip and look for openings while they're dealing with your body weight. Okay, the next drill I'm going to do is an escape from the bottom. My partner had side control, and then he moves around to the north-south position on me, where we're parallel, but his upper body, or the rest of his body is facing in the direction over my hip. I can't see him, and his head's here in my chest and stomach area. Now, there are lots of fancy things that you can do where you're pushing the hips up, and you're moving the arms, and you're reaching back with your legs, but you need a lot of flexibility to do that. And I find the easiest thing to do is what we just call the pendulum swing. And what that is that you just turn to your side and you just start swinging your legs. And as you can just tell by the way I'm doing the movement here, every time I swing, my body position, my upper body position changes. And what's going to happen is I'm going to swing all the way to the point where I'm going to swing up from underneath my partner, and he's going to have to adjust to try to keep me pinned down, or I'm going to get back to a position where I can reestablish the guard. Now that my partner's here, he's going to lay on top of me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the swing with my legs. Now when you do the swing with your legs, you don't want your legs up in the air. You want to keep them low to the mat. This is the drill right here. And you have to make sure that you breathe. And at some point, you're going to spin all the way around until you come right back and you can establish the guard again. The hardest part to doing that drill is going to be the breathing part, because a lot of you doing it won't breathe. You're going to do the swing, holding your breath, and get here and then almost pass out. You have to breathe when you're doing this, because you're not doing it extremely hard, but you're just moving. It's just a swing. And if someone's pinning your upper body down, it's only going to be your legs while your upper body shakes free from underneath their pressure, a few inches at a time. Okay? So we're here, Delmar's on top, putting his weight down, my legs up, I'm going to drop him. And it's not going to, I'm not going to turn around on the first or second or maybe even the third one. So I'm going to have to keep swinging until I feel myself loosening to the point where I'm facing him, and then I can reestablish the guard. So we're here, he's on me, this won't work, that won't work, that won't work. But as you can see, I'm starting to move, and he's starting to have to readjust because he's losing his position on me. And that's what's going to get you out. And once you swing, then you come back here, and you're in a position to reestablish your guard, whether it be open or closed. Open to closed is probably the best sequence to go with this much space, because no one's going to let you just sit right in with no contact. So hip contact with your feet and hands, and then you can slide in. That's probably the best way to do it. Okay, another drill that we can do from the side control from the top is how to take our opponent's back. So we were doing the head to hip position where we were on top and we were moving around, and our weight kept our opponent from being able to turn in or to fight us or even to turn away. But in the event that our knees drop to the floor because we're not successful in being able to suspend our weight up on our toes the entire time, when my opponent rolls away, he's going to create a space in between his hip and his leg, and that space is what I call the gate. And what he's going to do is when he rolls away, this space right here is going to be open so that I'll be able to slip my foot in and to be able to take his back. And whenever people roll away, they usually roll away like this. And there's the gate right there. That's the opening that we're looking for, because they're usually sloppy before they get to the position where they close it up. So when they're in that position, what I want to do is I want to be able to do what I call the baseball slide. And what the baseball slide is, I'm going to take my first hook and I'm going to slide it through like that, where my foot shoots into the gap of the gate so that the first hook is in, and then I'll be able to sit up and reach across and either climb over to take the back position, or I'll be able to pull them back into the back position by scooting away from the snake movement that we were doing earlier in the warm-up portion. Okay? So, again, when they turn, I'm looking for that spot, that opening right there. Gate. I will be here on my side control, and what I do is I shoot my leg out in the baseball slot. And my toes need to be pointed because I'm trying to shoot it into the gate, which is going to be a small focus spot. And once it's here, I sit into my opponent. I'm going to wrap my arm around their back so that I can either come up, take the back, or I can pull them back with this movement, and then they fall right into my back control position. And the drill is this. Here. That's what you need to do. Okay, Delmar? Okay, lay down at your feet. All right. Now, when Delmar rolls away, we're going to do this slowly. I'm going to, since I have my weight on my knees, he's got room to move now. And the best time for him to try to roll out away from me is before I put my weight down on him. So when he goes to roll, he's going to roll out, roll. I need to drop and slide at this point here. Now the reason for the long exaggerated slide is because when he rolls away, you see all the space that he creates. If I just do this, there's no way I'm going to be able to close the space between us. So I have to shoot it out, and then I'm going to sit and come so that I can get him. I need to close the 2 or 3 feet space that he's created between us while he rolled away. Okay? Because space is working on his behalf. It's his friend and it's my enemy. So while he's trying to create more space to get away from me, I'm trying to close the space up so that I can finish him off. So we're here, he rolls away, and I'm here. Sitting on my elbow, hand, and I slide this in. Now once I'm here, and this hook is on the inside, the first hook is the hardest one to get in, which is why we're doing the baseball slide. Once you have the second one in, then you can step over. Now, when you step over, you have to be aware of a couple things. One, if your head is beyond his head, if he stands up on his hands, he's going to throw me. Okay? Way down. Come up on your legs. Stick your legs up. Right. He's going to throw me like that, okay? Go back down. So I want to make sure that my head stays back with his head. I also need to keep once my leg comes over, before my heel goes in, this knee needs to be pinched. It needs to keep pressure on his back so that I can slip this in with ease. And then I come inside and I'm going to flatten him out like that. And once I flatten him out, then I can set him up for the rear naked choke drill that we're going to do next. Okay? All the way. Once I flatten him out, his head should be right there, and then we'll go to the choke drill next. From another angle with the camera angle coming in from my back, when Delmar goes to roll away, I'm sliding in here, baseball, slide again, and then I'm coming around with the back. And I want to make sure when I come up that this hand is supporting me while this one is going behind the back until I get around and get my second hook in. And once the second hook's in, I need to make sure that my head is at the same level as his head and not extended too far over so I don't get bumped off if he stands up with his legs and rolls me over. Now once I'm here and I want to flatten him out, I want the hand to go inside and grab his wrist, and I'm going to pull his wrist inside while I kick back with the legs, and that's what's going to flatten him out. Their head is going to be not flat on the mat like this, but up because they're going to be trying to fight, and it's going to be easy for you to choke them out. The next drill we're going to work on, and we're going to use two ordinary tools to support our training. One is an umbrella, and one is a bicycle seat. Hey, you almost hit me with that thing. And what we're going to do with this is I'm going to use the bicycle seat to show you how to have the proper arm placement for your rear naked choke. And with the umbrella, I'm going to show you how to maintain pressure with your shoulder and head whenever you're trying to pin an opponent and isolate a body part. Okay, starting with this, the bicycle seat. If you look at it from the inside of the seat here, where the part where the person will sit is facing away from you, that almost has the same shape as someone's shoulders and neck area. So what I want to use this for is when I'm coming in for my entry point, when I want to practice and see exactly where my arm should go around the person's throat. This is a perfect tool for that. So when I bring my arm in from behind, I'm going to imagine this is someone that I'm standing behind them, and this is their neck, and this is their throat. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to secure it just like that. And where I want to secure is right where this part of the bicycle seat should be, right there in the middle of my arm, touching my shoulder. Here, and then I shoot this part behind in the gap there, and that will secure the choke. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if I bring Delmar in here to do that, when I go to do the choke, take my gi top off. I want you to see my arm. I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to make sure this goes underneath, just like it will with the bicycle seat. We have this again. 1, and see how I lock the seat in between the vise of my arm right there. That's exactly what I'm going to do with his throat. So I know it's in when I can pin it like that, and then with the second hand, I just shoot it right behind the neck so that it touches my shoulder and goes in right between his head and my body. So again, if I go back to the bicycle seat, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And when I do it to him, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now, it's going to be easier to do this the practice this on a seat, especially if you can prop it up somewhere where you don't have to hold it, because you're going to find out that people don't like you choking them a lot, and you may put someone to sleep if you don't know how to wake them up. This is perfect. And this also will help you work on creating the muscle strength in your arm in case you hold it here, or to learn how to hold it, and you don't have it right away, but that you can learn how to just hold it until you wear your partner out without wearing your arm out. You need to build this part of your arm up to make your chokes tighter. And shoot into your shoulder. And to your shoulder. And for a walking around drill, when you're doing this part, hands are always going through the shoulder. So the first hand goes in, shoulder, second hand shoots up, shoulder. 1, 2. Shoulder, shoulder. So one's a shoulder hook, hook to the shoulder, one's a straight to the shoulder. Hook, straight. Hook, straight. Choke down mark. Hook, straight. Hook, straight. Hook, straight. Hook, straight. And that eliminates this, how amateurs do it, where they stick their arms out and loop around. Because it's easy for him just to grab my arm and lock it out from here, and I don't want that to happen. So the hook eliminates that. The hook, shoulder, straight right behind the head, and that'll make the choke even faster. Okay, for the next drill, we've had enough of the bike riding for the day. I'll get rid of that, and I'm going to use the umbrella. Now, what the umbrella does is it gives me a straight surface, which could represent an arm, or maybe even a leg, used at different points in the body. And what I want to do is I want to be able to practice how to secure the body part in between whatever I'm trying to pinch it against. So let's say in the case of, for example, when I go in to do the snatch, come here for a second, Delmar. When we were doing the initial single leg takedown, when I go in and I do the snatch here, I can pinch just between my leg, and let's say I can have my partner or no one try to pull that out. Try to pull that out, Delmar. While he's trying to pull that out, I'm going to use my legs to make sure that I'm pinching. Less with my hands, but I want to pinch more of it with my legs so that I know that these are doing what they're supposed to be doing when I'm doing this technique. Okay? Another way I can use it is when I'm on the top in the side control and I'm going for some kind of Kimura / arm bar where I'm trying to pinch the arm in between my head. So if I put the umbrella here and I pinch it down between my arm, my shoulder, and my head, it's hard to pull out. You come here, Delmar, again. Pull this out. Put it on this side. Good. Now, somebody may say, that's so stupid, I don't know when you'll use that. Come lay down for a second. Let's say if I'm on the side top and I catch this position here, my partner has his arm up and I'm going to go walk to the north-south and go for the Kimura from here. I secured the grip here so that he can't get the arm back, so that's going to require me to pinch his arm right here with my shoulder and his head. And as he tries to pull his arm out, pull it out, he can't. Again, it goes right back to the umbrella move that we were doing here, where I'm pinching down like this, just to stop that from being pulled out easily. And it seems like a real subtle move, because it is. And it almost seems trivial, but that could be the difference between someone getting out of the submission and you executing it, because you're able to get from the first step to the second step and you haven't lost the arm. So we're here, and once I catch it here, I need to be able to pinch, pull your arm down. Even if I move my arm here, just try to move your arm out, I have to pinch here. All just from that little umbrella, I know how to keep it. So now when I walk around to the north-south position, I'm still pinching. When I pull him up, he gets his arm out, I'm still pinching. I'm still pinching just from this. And that's just going to make securing the move even easier, because I know how to keep it in control from here. In any type of pinching situation that you have, even with the arm bar, you can sit up a second. The arm bar, if I'm sitting here with the umbrella, and it's like this, because this is where the arm would be when I have the arm bar. Try to pull that out. I want to hold it with my legs. I know my arms here, I don't want to stop it, go and pull it. I want to keep it from coming out with the legs, okay? Because what that's going to do is when he's laying on his back and I have the arm bar, that's going to teach me that when I'm here, I need to pinch my legs. So when he tries to pull his arm out, he can't. It's going to be a struggle. And if my legs are pinched, it's going to be harder for him to sit up into me. Because if these legs are loose, easier for him to sit up and for him to pull his arm out. So this, just from that umbrella, pinch here, will stop all of that. Okay, one of the last drills we're going to do from the back position is what I call the rear naked snake move. And what that is that's just a constant attacking of the neck, trying to apply the rear naked choke. And what's going to be constant is a hook. You're going to barrage your opponent with a series of never-ending hooks until one slips in deep enough that you can actually finish him off. So my partner is here, and I'm doing the choking. I want to hook and get this arm around the throat until I catch up to the point, or I get to the point where he cannot stop my arm from getting in. But my hand has reached my shoulder, his chin is close or right at my elbow, and I've got a good vice on each side of his neck so that I can slip the second hand behind the neck and finish the choke. And the reason for that is because you can expect that your partner's going to be fighting you off and trying to stop you with, he's going to grab the first arm, or maybe the second arm, or maybe the third arm. So you're going to have to be relentless with it and not quit on it. Come on, come on. Okay, now that we're here, I'm behind my partner, whether I'm on top in the mount, in the back position, or whether I'm sitting on my butt and he's in my position. It's just a series of never-ending hooks. Now, as you can see by the rate of speed that I'm going, it's very easy for Delmar to reach up here and just to grab my arm. Well, if I start picking up the pace, he can't keep up with that. I'm there already. So my hand's on the shoulder, and I shoot it in, and he's done. Okay? So, again, you should expect your partner to catch the first 2 or 3. And if you quit, then you're going to have a fight in your hands. But it's very hard for people to escape from the back position while they're just dealing with this series of never-ending hooks. They just can't keep up. Now, if I just did this and stopped, and then did it again and stopped, maybe he just grabs my arm, maybe he flips me, maybe he gets out. But I want to make sure that he's constantly dealing with it. And I don't care if he keeps stopping me, because I have the back position, and I know I am going to win at some point. I just need to breathe and be relentless, and I will catch up. So with our rear naked drill, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, hook, shoot, straight, hook, shoot, and that's it. Hook, shoot, hook, shoot. Okay. So the drill is hook to shoulder, shoot to shoulder, hook, shoot, hook, shoot. And when you're doing the barrage, it's hook, 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 until you get the shoot. Hook, 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 until you get the shoot. Hook, 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 until you get the shoot. Next drill we're going to do is the knee on belly escape from the bottom. Okay? I'm on my side or on my back, and my partner is going to be on top of me with the knee on belly. And what I want to do is whichever side he's on, I want to bridge up, bump, hit him in the butt with that knee, and then I'm going to shoot this leg through so that I can come up, and now that I'm facing into them. And that's going to allow me to be able to drive across. So they're going to come in, knee on belly. I post up on one foot so that I can bridge and bump with them and hit them in the back and the butt like that. That's going to just move their weight off of me so that I can come back inside, make that 90-degree turn, be flat, so that I can pop up on my knees and then drive back into them. The drill is this. Pop, here. Up. Pop, up. Pop, turn, up. Pop, turn, up. And to give yourself a target, put your hand up in front of you so that you'll know where your knee's going to connect. Here. Target. So you can alternate like that, so you know that you have to get your butt off the ground with the bridge and that the knee's going to have to come up high. Bump, 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 bump. Okay? Bump, under, pop up, drive in. Okay, now that my partner's here, I'm going to have him do the knee on belly, and I'm going to do the drill and show you how it will look. Okay? He comes on, he puts the knee on me. And now he has the knee on me. I'm here. I just bump inside so I can come up, and then I'll drive up, just like that. Okay, so it's here. Bump, in. Bump, in, up. Bump, in, up. Bump, in, up. Just like that. One more time. Knee. Bump, in, up. Okay, you just need the knee. Just need the knee to get them to shift their weight forward so you can go underneath. And the option to drive in or to come around the back is there, just as long as you get them off of you. Okay, the next drill we're going to do is the knee on belly third point of pressure drill. And in this drill, I'm going to use another tool here, which is my man Bobby, who just happens to be a very angry little boy. But you don't have to have a Bobby to use this. If you have, again, an aerobic step at home, a solid cushion that's about 9 to 12 inches thick, that's thick enough that can support your weight, or a duffel bag with clothes stuffed in it. You just need something that can support your weight. I don't want it to sound like you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You don't need to do that. You just need to have something that can support your weight, so that when we start doing the drill, your hand placement's in the right position during the drill while you're transitioning, and so that you know that you're on the right track with it. And you can put some speed to it to add the cardio content to it. Okay, so when I'm doing the knee on belly drill, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my knee is going diagonally across whatever this is I'm using, whether it's a step, a duffel bag, or whatever, okay? And I want to make sure I'm in the right position so that my leg's up and my knee's up, and this is my jailhouse on the corner pose, where my elbow is here, my hand's here. That means that my back is erect, so that I have good posture. Now, with my hand is on the knee, this hand should go behind the head so that I can lift the head up into the chin. Lift the chin into the chest, like that. I'm not trying to pick him up from his head. I just want to be able to put the chin into the chest, and my hand here is going to go right there on the hip. And this is my third point of pressure here at this point from the bottom, okay? So this should restrict his movement. It's a good position to wear him down, as well as to force him to give me something just so I can move on to the next spot. So the movement in this is I want to be able to put my hands down and switch from side to side. So when my hands go down, I'm going to have both knees on whatever's underneath me at one point. This is one. The second one's going to step out, two, and then this leg, the foot's going to come over so that it slips from hip to hip. And now I'm on the opposite side, and I'm right here at the head again, putting the chin into the chest here. Strokes just like that. Just like that. Now, the next thing I want to do is when I'm getting up, I want to spin around. So from here, I want to walk around in the event Bobby pushes me off. Put all my weight down, just like we were doing with the bullfighter pass in the chair. And I walk around. And I reestablish the position here. Up, weight, walk around, here. 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 Okay? All right, Delmar. Okay, now that I have that young punk Bobby out of the way, I have Delmar in here. I'm going to show you how it will look with a live body. Again, I do the knee on belly, hand on the hip, pull up his head, not lifting him up, but just enough to get his chin into his chest. Palm over the floor, switch. Here, palms on the mat, switch, switch, switch. Now, if you don't have something with a head, I still want you to have the hip position and know that your hand should be here. Have the hand placement where it's supposed to be, even if there's no head to lift up on, so that when you do add the head, you'll know exactly where it's supposed to go. Palms on the mat, switch. Palms on the mat, switch. Now, if he kind of turns into me, like to slightly turn to bump me off of him, I can put my weight on him and spin around to the opposite side. All right? And with my weight being here, he's either going to roll back or roll into me. If he rolls into me, I just scoop under and put my foot in the deep sliding hook and take the back. So I'm here, palms on the mat, I switch. He turns in, just come around to come here to maintain it again, to bring him back. If he continues to keep rolling, keep on. I just slide, and as soon as he pops up and gives me the gate here, I'm in. So the knee on belly will either wear them down, put them in a position where they'll roll away and you can take the back. But this is a good cardio move where you're doing the quick switch, switch, switch. So wear you out, it'll wear them out, and it's a good way particularly to wear down big guys over 200 pounds. Drills, techniques that we went over in the beginner OG shadow grappling instructional. You have a very good base now for a home routine when you can't make it to the gym or you just don't have time in your busy schedule where you feel like there's time to train and improve. Remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to improve on your grappling techniques or even keep your skills sharp. All it requires is just some commitment on your part and just the desire to get off your butt and stop being lazy and to do it. I'd like to thank my bookies that helped me out today, Ryan Hull and Delmar Lester. Without their help, this wouldn't have been possible. I greatly appreciate that. I also greatly appreciate every one of you that have invested in the DVD. I wish you good luck in your training. Be on the lookout for the next installment in my OG Shadow Grappling DVD series, which should be out in the next couple months. And remember the motto of the wise grappler: train smarter, let the young punks train harder.